Have you ever wondered why some people in their 80s seem so vibrant and independent, while others, with no major diagnosed illness, appear to lose their spark much sooner? It's a common observation that often leaves us puzzled. We see one person enjoying walks and hobbies, fully engaged with life, while another seems to struggle with basic daily tasks. The difference isn't always about a specific disease that shows up on a lab report. Instead, the answer might lie in the subtle, gradual changes that we tend to dismiss as just a normal part of getting older, but which quietly shape the quality of our later years. My purpose here is to serve as an educational guide, exploring the science behind healthy aging in a clear and responsible way. This video isn't about miracle cures or anti-aging secrets. It's about shedding light on the often underestimated factors that can silently erode our well-being and independence. We will be looking at the underlying processes that impact not just how long we live, but how well we live. The goal is to provide you with information that fosters awareness and understanding, helping you observe your own journey, or that of your loved ones, with greater insight and care. A common belief is that making it past 75 is simply a matter of good genes or avoiding a catastrophic illness like a heart attack or cancer. However, this video proposes a reframing of that idea. Our health span, the quality and vitality of our years, is profoundly shaped by three interconnected and modifiable pillars: the integrity of our physical body, the depth of our social connections, and the maintenance of a cognitive purpose. These pillars act as a protective system, and when one weakens, it often accelerates the decline of the others, creating a hidden cycle of frailty. Over the next few minutes, we will explore each of these three foundational pillars in detail. By the end of our discussion, you will have a clear understanding of how the gradual loss of physical strength, the slow drift into social isolation, and the lack of mental stimulation are intertwined. These are not dramatic events, but silent risks that develop long before any formal diagnosis is made. The objective here is not to cause alarm, but to empower you with knowledge, allowing for more mindful observation of the subtle shifts that truly define the aging experience. If you believe that clear, responsible, and educational information about health is important, I invite you to support this channel. By liking this video, subscribing, and perhaps leaving a comment with your thoughts, you help this content reach more people who are seeking to understand these topics better. Your engagement plays a crucial role in building a community dedicated to informed and thoughtful conversations about our well-being. Now let's begin by examining the first of these three critical pillars: the slow erosion of our physical foundation, which often starts in a way we barely notice. Let's begin our exploration with the first pillar: the slow, almost imperceptible erosion of our physical foundation. The most common and frequently overlooked sign of this process is a growing difficulty in performing simple, everyday tasks. Think about the physical actions you once did without a second thought, like getting up from a comfortable armchair, carrying a bag of groceries from the car, or climbing a single flight of stairs. This isn't about a sudden injury or a sharp pain, but rather a gradual increase in the effort required for these basic movements. A change so subtle that we often adapt to it unconsciously. Consider the act of rising from a chair. For years, you likely did it without using your hands, relying solely on the strength in your legs and core. But perhaps you've noticed a change. Now you might find yourself instinctively placing your hands on the armrests to push yourself up. This small adjustment, this need for a little extra help, is incredibly easy to dismiss. It's a quiet signal that is often rationalized as being tired or simply taking it easy, rather than being recognized as a meaningful shift in your body's functional capacity and underlying physical strength. This same pattern can be observed in other areas of daily life. A flight of stairs that you used to ascend with ease might now leave you feeling a bit more winded, or you might find yourself pausing halfway up. A bag of groceries that once felt light might now seem to strain your grip or your back just a little more. Each of these instances, taken in isolation, seems trivial. However, when viewed as a collective pattern, they paint a clearer picture of a gradual decline in physical resilience that is taking place silently, right under the surface of your day-to-day routine. The primary reason these signs go unnoticed is because they align perfectly with our cultural narrative of what it means to get older. We are conditioned to believe that slowing down and finding things more difficult is just an inevitable and normal part of the aging process. Because the loss of strength is gradual, without the alarm bells of acute pain or a sudden event, we don't treat it with the same seriousness as other health indicators. It's a change that whispers instead of shouts, making it incredibly easy to ignore until its cumulative effects become much more pronounced. Furthermore, our bodies are masters of adaptation. As our physical capacity slowly diminishes, we unconsciously adjust our behaviors to compensate for the change. You might start choosing the elevator over a single flight of stairs, or asking someone else to carry a heavy item without even thinking about why. This process of adaptation is a survival mechanism, but it can also create a blind spot. You accommodate the new, lower baseline of your physical ability, and in doing so, the gradual erosion of your strength remains hidden from your conscious awareness, masked by these new, slightly more limited habits. It is crucial, however, to reframe this observation, seeing this increased difficulty not as an inevitable fate, but as a critical piece of information, is a powerful shift in perspective. It's an objective indicator of a change in your functional health, your actual ability to navigate your world independently and with confidence. This isn't about judging yourself or feeling discouraged. Instead, it's about learning to listen to your body's more subtle signals with the same attention you would give to a more obvious symptom, empowering you with a deeper understanding of your own well-being. The implications of this slow decline extend far beyond the tasks themselves. When basic movements become challenging, it can suddenly begin to shrink your world. You might turn down an invitation to a park, knowing the walk will be tiring. You might avoid visiting a friend whose home has stairs. This isn't a conscious decision to become isolated, but a practical response to a physical reality. The gradual loss of strength can, therefore, quietly build walls around your life, limiting your engagement, your independence, and your overall sense of freedom long before any specific disease is ever diagnosed. Recognizing this sign is not meant to cause alarm or anxiety. On the contrary, it is about fostering a more mindful and informed awareness of your own body. By paying attention to these subtle shifts, you are better equipped to understand your personal health journey. It transforms you from a passive passenger, simply accepting what comes, into an active observer who can notice trends and patterns. This awareness is the first and most fundamental step toward having more meaningful conversations about your health with qualified professionals who can provide proper context and guidance for your specific situation. This observable increase in difficulty with everyday tasks is the visible tip of the iceberg. It is the external sign of a much deeper, silent process happening within the body. This process unfolds over years without pain or any other obvious symptoms, quietly compromising the very foundation of our physical independence. Now, let's look beneath the surface and discuss the specific, often undiagnosed silent condition that is directly associated with this gradual loss of strength, a condition known as sarcopenia, which affects millions of older adults around the world. The silent condition behind this gradual weakening of the body has a name: sarcopenia. This term describes the progressive and widespread loss of skeletal muscle mass and strength that occurs as we age. Unlike a sudden illness that announces itself with clear and alarming symptoms, sarcopenia develops over decades, quietly and without pain. It's not a disease in the conventional sense of an infection or a tumor, but rather a slow, degenerative process that gradually undermines the very foundation of our physical independence, making us more vulnerable in ways we often don't anticipate until a crisis occurs. One of the most deceptive aspects of sarcopenia is its silence. There is no telltale ache, no fever, no specific warning sign that you can point to on any given day. This absence of immediate painful feedback creates a profound false sense of security. You might feel perfectly fine, attributing any increased difficulty with physical tasks to simply being out of shape or having an off day. This is how the condition remains hidden in plain sight. While we are busy looking for more dramatic health threats, the very engine of our body is slowly losing its power, unnoticed and unaddressed. This loss of muscle is more than just a cosmetic change. It represents a fundamental decline in your body's functional reserve. Your muscles are not just for lifting and moving. They are a critical metabolic organ. They play a vital role in regulating blood sugar, processing protein, and managing your body's energy reserves. As muscle mass diminishes, these essential background processes can become less efficient. This systemic impact means that sarcopenia can quietly affect your overall health, influencing your body's ability to manage other chronic conditions and maintain a state of equilibrium, all without ever causing a single identifiable symptom. The most direct and dangerous consequence of sarcopenia is a dramatically increased risk of falls. Balance, stability, and the ability to catch yourself when you stumble are all directly dependent on muscle strength, particularly in your legs and core. As these muscles weaken, your body's ability to react quickly and maintain its center of gravity is compromised. A small trip over a rug or an uneven patch of sidewalk, which you might have easily recovered from years earlier, can suddenly become a serious event, leading to a fall that can have devastating consequences for your health and independence. When a fall does happen, sarcopenia significantly raises the risk of a serious fracture. Weaker muscles mean less protective padding around your bones, and the force of the impact is more directly transferred to your skeleton. A hip fracture in particular is a life-altering event for an older adult. It often requires major surgery, a long and difficult period of rehabilitation, and can frequently mark the beginning of a permanent loss of independence. The connection is clear. The silent loss of muscle directly creates the physical vulnerability that turns a minor accident into a major medical crisis. Beyond the immediate danger of falls and fractures, sarcopenia has a profound impact on your body's overall resilience. Think of your muscle mass as a protein reservoir that your body can draw upon during times of stress, such as an illness, an infection, or recovery from surgery. When you have a smaller reserve to begin with, your ability to withstand and bounce back from these health challenges is significantly diminished. This is why two people of the same age can have vastly different outcomes after the same illness. The one with greater muscle reserve often has a much stronger foundation for recovery. This gradual erosion of muscle also affects your day-to-day energy and vitality. Your muscles are a major consumer of energy, and their health is closely tied to your overall metabolism. As muscle mass declines, your metabolic rate can slow down, which can contribute to feelings of fatigue and a general lack of stamina. That sense of feeling tired more easily, or not having the energy for activities you once enjoyed, isn't just a psychological state. It can be a direct physiological consequence of the silent changes happening within your muscular system over a long period. It is essential to understand that this process is not simply about getting weaker in an abstract sense. It is a tangible physiological change where muscle fibers shrink in size and number and are sometimes replaced by fat and fibrous tissue. This change in the quality and quantity of your muscle tissue is what underlies the loss of strength and function. Recognizing that this is a concrete biological process rather than just a vague feeling of aging is the first step toward understanding its significance for your long-term health, well-being, and ability to live an active, independent life. Ultimately, the false sense of security that sarcopenia creates is its greatest danger. Because it doesn't hurt, and because we culturally accept slowing down as a normal part of aging, we fail to see the pattern for what it is, the steady dismantling of our body's physical defenses. This understanding shifts the focus from just avoiding major diseases to also preserving the fundamental capacity of our bodies. Now let's consider how our own common everyday decisions, often made with the best of intentions, can unintentionally accelerate this hidden process and deepen the associated risks. Now, let's examine the common decisions that can quietly contribute to this cognitive understimulation. After a lifetime of work and responsibility, the desire for a less demanding routine is completely understandable. This often translates into a choice to abandon hobbies that require significant mental effort in favor of more passive forms of entertainment. For example, one might stop reading complex books, give up on strategy games like chess or bridge, or avoid engaging in deep conversations about new or challenging subjects. These decisions are not made out of laziness, but from a genuine desire for comfort and ease in daily life. This shift toward mental relaxation is not only a personal choice, but is also heavily reinforced by social norms. We often hear the phrase that someone has earned a well-deserved rest or is simply seeking peace of mind in their later years. The idea of not having to strain the brain anymore is presented as a reward for a life of hard work. Because this transition is framed so positively, it's easy to overlook any potential downsides. It seems like a natural and harmless evolution of one's daily routine, a gentle winding down that is both socially accepted and personally appealing. However, the unintentional consequence of this pursuit of mental ease can be a gradual decline in cognitive agility and adaptability. The brain, much like a muscle, thrives on being challenged. When we consistently choose passive consumption over active engagement, we stop exercising those crucial neural pathways responsible for problem solving, learning, and critical thinking. This decision, made with the best of intentions, can inadvertently accelerate the shrinking of our cognitive reserve. It creates a hidden risk by slowly dismantling the very resilience that helps protect our brain function as we age, leaving us more vulnerable to cognitive changes over time. As we conclude our discussion, it's essential to bring these three pillars together. We began by reframing the idea of healthy aging, moving beyond the simple absence of major disease. The central thesis of our conversation has been that the quality of our later years is profoundly shaped by an interconnected system. The integrity of our physical body, the depth of our social connections, and the maintenance of a cognitive purpose. These are not separate issues, but a unified foundation for well-being. A weakness in one area does not exist in isolation. It inevitably affects the stability of the others. Throughout our exploration, we have shed light on three silent processes that can erode this foundation. We looked at the gradual loss of muscle strength, known as sarcopenia, which quietly increases physical vulnerability. We examined chronic loneliness, a physiological stressor that can invisibly impact our cardiovascular and cognitive health. And finally, we discussed the reduction of cognitive reserve, which diminishes the brain's resilience when it is no longer actively challenged. Each of these develops slowly, without obvious symptoms, which is precisely what makes them so important to understand through mindful observation, rather than waiting for a crisis. The purpose of this information is not to cause worry, but to empower you with awareness. Understanding these gradual processes allows you to become a more informed observer of your own health journey and that of your loved ones. It shifts the perspective from one of passively accepting age-related changes as inevitable to one of actively noticing the subtle trends that define your functional well-being. This knowledge is a tool for observation, not a prescription for action, intended to foster a deeper understanding of the factors that truly support a vibrant and independent life as the years go by. It's crucial to recognize how these pillars create a feedback loop. For instance, a decline in physical strength might make it harder to leave the house, leading to social isolation. That isolation, in turn, can reduce opportunities for mental engagement and conversation, affecting cognitive stimulation. This creates a downward cycle, where the erosion of one pillar accelerates the decline of the others. Conversely, strengthening one area can positively influence the rest. This interconnectedness is the key takeaway. Preserving our health span is about maintaining the entire supportive structure, not just patching up individual problems as they arise. It is imperative to state clearly that this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. The information presented here is based on general scientific understanding and is not a substitute for a consultation with a qualified healthcare professional. For credible, in-depth information on healthy aging, we encourage you to refer to official sources such as the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the National Institute on Aging, NIA, and the World Health Organization, WHO. These organizations provide reliable, evidence-based guidance that can help you make informed decisions. Any personal health concerns or decisions, especially those related to changes in your physical abilities, social habits, or cognitive function, should always be discussed with your doctor or another qualified health provider. They are the only ones who can take your unique medical history and individual circumstances into account to provide guidance that is safe and appropriate for you. Never start or stop any practice based solely on information you see online. Professional medical consultation is essential for responsible health management, ensuring your choices are both safe and effective for your specific needs. Thank you for investing your time to explore these important topics with us. By reaching the end of this video, you have shown a commitment to understanding the nuances of healthy aging in a more profound and responsible way. Our goal was to provide clarity and empower you with a framework for observation. We hope this knowledge helps you view your own journey and that of the people you care about with greater insight, attention, and care. By being more aware of these silent pillars of well-being, you are better equipped to navigate the path ahead with confidence.